Some of you may not know this, but similar to Divya this evening, Chris wrote and performed the ceremony for my wedding a few years back. He did an amazing job, put together some prose which we'll look back on our whole lives. If you get a chance, you should check it out. I'm very fortunate, and I have several friends, like brothers, that I truly admire. Many of them are here tonight. It's an honor to have friends like this as part of my life, and Chris is one of them. It makes life not only more enjoyable, but easier. Reading what Chris wrote for our ceremony and watching him preside over my wedding really went above and beyond. There are similarities to that situation a few years ago and me standing here right now. None of the eloquence or love he put into that ceremony. For sure, my speech is crass and offensive, but the situations were familiar, and that Carrie and I had some trepidation on our part, having Chris involved. You see, Chris was in China for a month or so prior to our wedding, and was flying in directly from China to New York, then to South Carolina. As it turned out, the days leading up to his return were spent in various degrees of gastrointestinal disarray, and even some time in Chinese hospital. I think it was the shape of a bird's nest. I was pretty concerned, as was Carrie. He was very pale, even more so than usual, sweating profusely, and really hadn't slept in 4 or 5 days. So, getting back to the similarity, past few weeks Chris has been very concerned about me. My wife and I have a 3-week-old baby. I can guarantee you that Chris got more sleep in that Chinese hospital than I've had in the past few weeks. I assure everyone I'm very well prepared for this. I wasn't given any guidance here on what I could say or couldn't say, and I was sure you would all have had a few drinks by this time. I mean, I could give this at 10 a.m., and half of Chris' invites would have been a few cocktails in. Johnson's been drunk since 1986. Sorry about your liquor cabinet, Mr. Scanlon. Since I didn't have any guidelines, in honor of the late George Carlin, I thought I would just play it safe and avoid the famous 7 words you can't say on television. That got me thinking. In order to further prepare Nancy for her future, I thought I would include a few 7-word phrases that she'll never hear Chris say. I'm really tired of eating turkey sausage. I'm sorry, Nancy. You were absolutely right. Pfizer puts safety ahead of shareholder value. This next one's a poker reference. I lost again tonight. Golly, Johnson's good. I'll wait to speak. Finish your thought. That 6th Rob Roy really hit the spot. Family get-together. Oh, I can't wait. Adam broke my tooth. I deserved it. So, moving on. Some of you may not know this either. Chris and I dated for 7 years. Sure, we thought we were going out and picking up girls, but after 7 years, if you're on a fishing boat with your buddy for 7 years and you don't catch any fish, you're really on the love boat. I think Isaac may have even served us Rob Roy's one night. At some point along these 7 years, I met my wife, and she asked me if I was dating anyone, and since I saw an opportunity for a serious relationship, I thought it was only fair that I mention Chris. You laugh. Chris and I had some solid dates. You guys would be jealous. One night, though, Chris and I were going to meet up at a comedy show. Carrie had grown used to being the third wheel at this point. And there was Nancy, along with matchmaker Talia. We had a few drinks beforehand, then hit the show. I know none of you are going to believe this, but Nancy and Chris talked the whole time, and talked some more. At one point I leaned over and said, I didn't pay $20 to hear you guys talk. Nancy may have heard me, but Chris certainly didn't. The crazy thing was, Chris, as far as I could tell, was actually listening to Nancy. It was a landmark occasion. Things changed at that point. Carrie went from the third wheel to my wife, and Chris was next seen baking a cake in the likeness of Michigan Stadium. He quit his job as a teacher to actually make some money, since he knew Nancy wouldn't buy his beers like I did. He was planning canoe trips, Nancy fell in love with that demon spawn cat Otto. They bought a garden gnome, and I may have this wrong, but I'm pretty sure they would make their hands into a mouth shape, and they gave these characters names, and they'd use them to talk to each other. I mean, if the writing wasn't on the wall with the cake in the shape of the stadium, the freaky little puppetless hand characters certainly cinched it up for me anyway. That was a little background, and, I just wanted to thank Chris and Nancy. I know they put a lot of time in setting this up, and I want to thank you for giving me a chance to express my love, however backhanded it may seem. And thanks from everyone here for the good times we've had and the good times we'll share in the future. All the best.